It is 7:02 a.m. and I jump on Monday through Friday and I do something called Coffee with Shanda. This morning I'm actually drinking a decaf coffee in my new Nespresso, which I am in love with. If you guys don't have an Nespresso, no, I'm not endorsing this product for money. I'm just loving the product. So we're coming down to our last two coffees with Shanda for the year. And I do these consistently on our Hardcore Business page on Facebook, which some of you guys are watching. Some of you guys are watching on Instagram. I started doing this about 2.5 years ago because I felt like entrepreneurs that were following me and that were working with me really needed some more attention. And just like you, it's hard for me to figure out how do I do more lives consistently? How do I get more content consistently? And so about 2.5 years ago, when my son was 2 years old, I was like, there's this window at 6 a.m. that he's sleeping and I could do a live. And so I started doing lives at 6 a.m. And so it used to be 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda. And we noticed a huge jump in people going to our blog. We noticed a huge jump in people joining like our private Facebook groups that I was giving in. We noticed a huge jump in our events where people would come to our events and they were able to watch our Coffees with Shanda online. We also take them and repurpose them on YouTube as well. And I'm sharing this with you because I think a lot of people always ask me, like, they'll just start doing some version of a coffee show because they watch our Coffees with Shanda. And I want to tell you why I did it, so that you don't put good strategies in the wrong order. And so I was just feeling a lot like our audience needed more connection with me, and I wasn't able to figure out a time to put that connection in. And that's when I started doing Coffees with Shanda. I made it be consistent so that I had to show up every day, so that I wasn't putting myself in the realm of willpower. So no different, doesn't matter if you're running an 8-figure company or you're starting up a company. Consistency is a challenge for many of us. And so when you know that I have to show up or that I'm showing up, you can see right away when I don't show up that I'm falling short. And so making it a consistent show has prevented me from being inconsistent about actually staying on top of giving content so that people even know whether or not they even want to hire us, work with us, or anything like that. So that's all of that. Now, recently I've been putting out really vulnerable videos. They've been going out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and people have asked me, like, oh my gosh, like, what's going on with this strategy? And so first and foremost, the strategy is a way that I can let you in. You know, I was just sitting with a friend of mine yesterday and helping her with some strategies. And I said, she made a comment, and I've heard a lot of people have come to me in their own ways and talked to me about our videos. And she said, you know, the videos that you put out are super vulnerable. And she was sharing her own personal point of view on what she could or couldn't do, and like what was natural to her. And I said, what, like, it's not natural for me to share my insides with you. And I said to my friend, I said, you know, there's a lot of people who don't know us. They know us as the version online. We let you know us on the vulnerable stories that we want to share with you. And usually it's connected with an offer on the back end or some free gift or free something. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But what I realized is that you had my power. And what I mean by that is that there were things that I wasn't proud about in my own personality. Like nobody sees the Shanda that slams the door because she's frustrated at her husband about something, or the Shanda that like said she was going to go to the gym and didn't go to the gym. Like nobody sees that Shanda. The Shanda that did drugs at one point in my life. Now the world thinks I was an addict. You guys, I was not an addict. I was someone who did drugs or did speed for a few months and really saw the effects of being really skinny, and I loved it. And so there's some of that video that didn't come out completely right. But it's okay. Like that's even like another layer. We were laughing inside of, I was laughing with somebody in my company and I was saying, now the world thinks I'm a drug addict. And I said, thank God I don't have a looking good conversation. That they thought, not that there's anything wrong with somebody battling that, because that was the point of putting it out there. But it was like, now people actually think that I was an addict. And it was like, so what? Just so what? Just like, and to have that type of power inside you or inside of me to be okay on you seeing all the different aspects of me. I thought to myself, I said, maybe they're not coming out perfect right now. Maybe there's not a strong enough point and they're not all landing. And, based on results, there's a lot of you that have been sending me messages and sharing our videos with like little girls and little boys and with cousins and sisters and people that are walking through challenges in their life. And I'm getting these amazing messages for people. And I have this layer of my friends and my peers that are coming to me to talk to me about vulnerable, deep conversations. And, even my conversation yesterday, I got to get even closer with my friend. And I'll leave out that conversation because it's her personal conversation. But, I got to get even tighter with my girlfriend because we had a real conversation. I just spoke at Top Motivator, which is going out. It's being syndicated in January. On Fox Sports West, on Biz TV, I'm looking right now. A big station in Chicago. There's like 100 million, viewers that are coming in to see Top Motivator, and I'm excited about that piece. But like when I went out on that stage, I told a story I've never told before, right? Like I got up there and I talked about what's happening in my life right now, which is like nobody needs another strong person sitting around the Christmas tree this year. Right? Just like, how you doing? Great. Like, here's all the stars happening in my life. You know what I mean? But it's like, what's really happening? I'm struggling here. I'm struggling there. Like, in my marriage, my husband and I knew we had a good marriage, but there were areas of our marriage that we just weren't proud of. I would get frustrated about things and, every now and then we'd have a fight and I'd slam a door and then he would lose trust that I slammed a door and feel, and then I would be like, and I would feel beat up because I would be like, I can't believe I just slammed a door. Like I have a leadership training. Like, how could I be like that triggered around something? Like what's going on here? And it's like, okay, so I figured it out in my business, figured it out, in my own talk inside my head. And there's another layer. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? So it's like nobody wants to talk about that stuff because it doesn't make us look good. It makes us look human. And we do everything we can to get online and look superhuman so people buy from us. And I really think the new currency is transparency. And I think that if you want to get through the noise online, I think they don't need another pretty ebook or another perfect website. And, I coach thousands of clients a year. I could coach them how to build buyers list. I coach them how to take their knowledge and monetize it. I coach them how to cash flow so that if they cash flow enough, then they can put themselves in a situation that they could pay people who have already spent a lot of time getting really good at a certain tactic that can blow their business up. I actually did a message to our 1% club yesterday, and I said, for God's sake, stop getting distracted with having to learn more effing education to become a great entrepreneur. Stay in your lane, do your thing really well, and do the thing that's going to create the most amount of cash flow so you can hire amazing people so that you can work as a team to make a difference in the world. I mean, who taught us that we are supposed to be good at everything and that's what makes us worthy? I don't know where we developed this mindset, but what I can tell you is that it doesn't work. You know what works? What works is figuring it out. So as I'm doing these videos and I'm letting you inside me and I'm letting you see who I am, I'm letting you see, it's like the closeness starts to develop. And I can only imagine how strong I'm going to be at those videos next year. Like towards the end of next year, towards the middle of the summer, and how much those videos are going to, make an impact. And they're already being viewed by, 800,000 people. And, they're already being viewed and passed around, which is amazing. And I still don't know what I'm doing with them other than just letting you see me. And so there's no connection with trying to get you to do anything. There's no, like, I'm not throwing out any products or services after them to get you to buy anything. And when I do, there's nothing wrong with that. But the truth is I needed to go back and fix the foundation of my relationships, especially with my husband and with some of my team players inside of Hardcore and with you. And I needed to take my foundation and make it stronger. It was already strong, but it wasn't as strong as the empire I'm building now. And so what are you doing in your life right now? What needs some restructuring? What needs some more vulnerability in you? What needs you to go in and make it stronger? And making it stronger doesn't always mean that you need to go in there and do something. Sometimes you just have to stop and go, who am I being? Because here's what I know for sure. Where I'm going requires me to be another version of myself, a different leader than I am today. The leader that put her head down and just made it happen was great in building pieces of the empire. But now it's requiring me to scale. It's requiring me to operate very differently. It's requiring a different level of trust. It's requiring a different level of compassion. It's requiring a different level of understanding with people around me. And I remember about 2 years ago, I said, I have a dream. And I have a dream to lead a platform and be on a platform like Joel Osteen. And it wasn't about being the church. It wasn't about his message. It wasn't about that. It was about to be able to impact with my life on that level. And what is it going to take? It's going to take work. It's going to take walking through fear. It's going to take money. It's going to take finding more money. It's going to take lines of credit. It's going to take, it's going to take a higher level of risk. And it's also going to take a different level of compassion for the people that I work with. It's going to take a different level of leadership in how I lead, how I speak to people. It's going to take that, which means to me that I need to go back and I need to let you in. I need to let you in a little bit more. I need to let you know who I am so that first of all, you can decide, do you trust me? My question is, do you? Is it helping that I'm sharing this stuff? Is it helping that that I'm coming up on these lives and I'm sharing why I'm doing things? And it's not always for money. Sometimes it's just to build a foundation. And sometimes it is to make money. And sometimes it is to attract new team members. Like we're doing a massive hire inside of Hardcore right now. We're hiring 10 new salespeople. We're looking for a new sales director inside the company. So there's purpose to many different things that we all do. There's purpose. Sometimes it's to find people to come, be a part of the team. And sometimes it's to launch a campaign and create transformation, which means that you're going to make money when you create transformation because people are going to buy, right? And then sometimes it's about you letting people in and building more trust and authority, which authority comes with letting people in. And so, or maybe it doesn't, maybe it's opposite. Maybe you lose authority because maybe when you let people in, they realize that you're not strong enough to hold it. And maybe that's what you're afraid of, and that's why you don't want to let people in. I mean, these are all natural feelings, but you're not going to know until you go out there and you test it. You're not going to know until you go out there and you be imperfect. I'm not going to get phenomenal at doing these videos until I can drop in and not perform anymore. And every layer that I can drop in and become more real, I get the authority to be able to lead the platform that I have, that God put that vision in my mind and in my heart that, has never, ever been able to be shooken from me. I have not been able to let it go. I know you got one of those. I know you do. Whether it's that baby that you want, and you don't have a husband yet, or whether it's that platform that that huge event that you want to put on that you've seen it, but you haven't even done your first event, right? Whether it's that house, that you want to raise your family in that is 6,500 square feet. And you're like, oh my gosh, I have, $2,000 in my bank account. I know you got that dream. And the deal is that you've got to make that dream mean something. You can't just allow it to be out there and be like, somehow it's torture or suffering in your life that you have this dream. It's like, no, it's in you to create this. It's in you to create this. And where I go is I look up things in scripture that is connected with the thing that I want to create. So if it's my marriage or it's having babies, like right now, I'm looking in the Bible and I'm looking, what does it say about marriage? What does it say about having babies? And I get my truth from that, because here's what I know for sure is people like me, other people who are authors, we are human. And being human makes us naturally flawed. And unless you have really strong leadership, at some point you will take the authority that we have away. And when you take that authority away, you won't be able to hear us. So that means that we are actually inconsistent at helping each other all the way through the finish line. Do we need each other? Yes. I'm huge on hiring mentors. I'm huge on finding a community, because especially a community, because of the fact that people are going to let you down because you turn on and off, because you're human. You turn on and off all the time. What you're willing to believe and not believe turns on and off all the time. But if you can find something stable, and for me, I don't know what your relationship is with God, but for me, I just really believe that God is real. And because I believe that God is real, the scripture gives me a foundation that gives me stability. So I think you need both. At least that's what I've figured out. I feel like you need a community because even in scripture, it says you need a community. So if I believe in scripture is true and there's somehow it gets through to my inconsistency, then what happens is I create stability. And so I give all this to you, hopefully. I mean, is it making a difference? Like, is this helping? I would love to know if it is. But I give this to you because I just want to let you in, and I want to let you see not the courses that I produce, which are great to help you create businesses and transformation and leadership in your life. But I also want you, I think it's as important as the content that I put out. I think it's how I actually am doing it. You know, people say, how do I work this formula? How do I do this webinar? It's like, well, here's how you do it. But the truth is the how is even deeper. It's in how I'm acting behind closed doors. It's how I'm making my decisions. It's how I'm managing my mind that really makes the formulas work. And so that's what I'm attempting to do with the videos, with lives like this, is to just really share, this is what I'm doing to actually come to the table, or even get myself to come to the table to keep building. So currently I'm rebuilding my connection with you. And through doing that, I'm actually rebuilding my connection with me. And so, yeah, that's really it. That's really just what I wanted to share with you. Tomorrow, we have our last Coffee with Shanda of the year. And then Monday, we are going to go and donate $30,000 to a bunch of people who have donated with us, and we are going to go shop for Toys for Tots for the little kids and make sure that they have a Christmas present at Christmas as much as we can. And so there's a bunch of us getting together on Monday morning at 8 a.m. and we're going to be shopping our little tails off to be able to buy Christmas presents. And we started doing this last year, which was awesome. And we're bringing our kids and pulling our kids out of school to learn how to contribute and learn how to drop in their heart at that level and to give. And so I will see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. at Coffee with Shanda. I will go on Instagram and I will go on Facebook, and that will be the last live of the year. And the reason why I do that is because the rest of December, I will spend time skiing in Utah and pouring into my family, painting pottery with my son. These are just some of the things that I've got planned on the books, doing the Toys for Tots shopping, and just really pouring into that aspect of my life, going and spending some time with my dad, and just doing that piece of my life. So here's to not having to be balanced, and here's to figuring out what your priorities are and shifting your priorities to live a better life. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you soon, please. I love it when you share with me your thoughts about these lives. It really does fuel me. It gives me energy and power and just motivation to continue to show up for you. So I love to hear what really resonated with you. What did you appreciate about this live? And then, of course, if there's somebody that needs to hear this, please share it with them, tag them, let somebody, I'm a big believer in looking up, like Toys for Tots. I'm a big believer in looking up and seeing, like, who can you think of? Like, who can you think of right now actively, intentionally, that you could share this live with that could possibly make a difference for them? And go ahead and do that. Be that type of person. And I'll see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Coffee with Shanda. Bye.